Welcome to another Ziva Math video. In this video, we're going to find the y-intercept of a line when given a table. And the y-intercept is the y value of the point where the line crosses the x-axis. It's the y value when x is 0. So with the knowledge that our y-intercept is the point where the x value is 0, when we're given a table, and we show that there's a point already in the table where our x value is 0, we can easily identify our y-intercept because it's going to be the y value when x is 0. So the y-intercept for the line represented by this table is 0. We're going to find the y-intercept from this table, and we know that our y-intercept is the y value when x is 0. And I don't have a point in the table where x is 0, so I'm going to have to find my y-intercept. I do know that the point where x is 0 would fall here in the table. So I can go ahead and place my x value of 0 here. We're going to need to figure out what that y value is or what our y-intercept is. Looking at the x values for the points that are in the table, the first x value I have is -9 and the second is -3. That's a change of +6. The second point to the third point that was in the table, so the -3 to the 3, was also a change in 6. And from 3 to 9, we have a change in 6. Now, I know that 0 falls halfway between -3 and 3. So from -3 to 0, I had a change of 3, or half of 6. And from 0 to 3, I had a change of 3. So now that I know where 0 falls in relationship to the points, the x values around it, I can use that information when finding my y-intercept. So if I'm looking at the y values, from the first point to the second point, I have 8 and 4. That's a change of -4. From the second point to the third point, 4 to 0 is also a change of -4, and from 0 to -4 is a change of -4. Now, if my x value of 0 fell halfway in between the points on either side of it, the y value is also going to be halfway in between the y values of either side of it. So my y-intercept, where x is 0, that y value is going to be halfway in between 4 and 0. Well, from 4 to 0, we had a change of -4, and half of that is going to be a change of -2. So my y value is 4 minus 2, which is 2. So my y-intercept, my y value where x is 0, is 2. We're going to find the y-intercept from this table. The table represents points that are on a line, and our y-intercept is the point on that line where the line crosses the x-axis. So it's the y value when x is 0. And in the table, I don't have an x value of 0, so I can't get my y-intercept directly off the table. I do know that the point where x is 0 is going to fall here, somewhere in between the point -2, -2, and the next point to -4. So I'm going to go ahead and place 0 here. This is where that point is going to fall. My y-intercept is going to have to be somewhere in between -2 and -4. And I'm going to start by looking at my x values. Starting at my first point, -6 to -2, those x values, that is a change of +4. If I go from -2 to +2, the next points that were originally on my table, that's also a change in 4. However, note if I'm looking at the next point, going from the point 2, -4 to 4, -5, those x values 2 to 4 is only a change of 2. So when finding your y-intercept from a table, just be sure that you note that your points may not always be equidistant from each other. Now, going back to where my x value of 0 is going to fall, it is going to fall halfway in between -2 and 2. And from -2 to 2, that was a change of 4. So from -2 to 0, that's going to be a change of 2, or half of 4. And from 0 to 2, we have a change of 2, or half of 4. So I know that my y-intercept is going to be falling halfway in between the -2 and -4. If I look at the y values from the first point to the second point, I have values of 0 and -2, so that's a change of -2. From the second point to the third point, -2 to -4, I also have a change of y values of -2. However, from the third point to the fourth point, I only have a change of -1. So again, be very careful when you are calculating your y-intercept because not all of these points are equidistant from each other. Now, I did note that my x value of 0 is halfway in between -2 and 2. So my y value when x is 0 is going to have to be halfway in between -2 and -4. From -2 to -4, that was a change of -2. So half of that's going to be a change of -1. If you know that that y value that you're looking for is halfway in between -2 and -4, you are either taking -2 and subtracting 1 from it, or you know that halfway in between -2 and -4 is -3. So that y-intercept for the line represented by this table is -3. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to Ziva Math for more videos.